About 10 months ago, Time magazine published a list of 35 most anticipated TV shows of the summer of 2025. Here's the article. Top billing on that list of 35 most anticipated TV shows went to none other than Unspeakable, The Murder of JonBenet Ramsey, summer on Paramount+. The IMDb page for this production also stated that Unspeakable would make its premiere in the summer of 2025. Throughout the summer of last year, I followed any and every development on this documentary like a hawk. Then eventually in September of last year, I really thought the time was nigh, only for September to roll by as well with nary an announcement. Not a peep. The show simply didn't materialize, and by the end of October, we finally knew why.
I got nightmares in my head, I fear. Thoughts build up until I can't hear. My mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I got nightmares in my head, I fear.
The Daily Mail published this article. Hotly anticipated JonBenet Ramsey drama series starring Melissa McCarthy and Clive Owen will never see the light of day. In that article, we learned that the show that was greenlit by Paramount in September 2024 had become mired in legal controversy before it could get off the ground. Well, that's actually not entirely accurate. They'd actually finished filming the limited series, and it's not a case of it couldn't get off the ground. They couldn't get it into scheduling. Now, according to the Daily Mail, the show has become a point of concern for the streamer's lawyers, according to industry insider Matthew Belloni's Puck newsletter. Belloni said he has heard Paramount lawyers are super nervous about the show, which dramatizes the shocking case of Ramsey's murder back in 1996. Further details on what plot lines are causing concern have not been shared. Now, in this analysis, I am going to share some details on those plot lines and also some additional information on when this series might actually be coming out. Back to the article, Paramount have good reason to be cautious. CBS, which they own, was sued for defamation by JonBenet's brother Burke Ramsey for $750 million in 2016. He took legal action after CBS broadcast a documentary, and now it appears Paramount may prefer to cut their losses on a prestige drama than risk being liable for another big payout. But it actually seems that status quo has changed now. And everything that I've told you so far, none of that is really news. I'm just catching you up on the context of this particular issue. What is news is a rumor that Unspeakable might be coming out later this month. Yes, in March. But let me explain to you how I found this out. Before we get to that, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. If you're finding this analysis worthwhile, please do hit the thanks button, and let's get started. So, first of all, news in terms of this particular topic is that Angus K. Caldwell will be playing the role of Burke Ramsey. He seemed to be missing from previous depictions of the cast of this particular series. Also, if you head to the IMDb page, it lists the creators of this project. They are Richard LaGravenese, Harrison Query, and Tommy Wallach. Now, I googled each in turn, and when it came to Harrison Query, I stumbled on a AMA on Reddit that's an Ask Me Anything that was published 3 months ago. In other words, 1 month after, this is important, after that Daily Mail article basically disavowed the notion that the documentary was still in the works. And so what I did was I examined Query's AMA for any mention, any updates on what had to be a big breakthrough for him. And sure enough, Query did provide some fascinating insight on this documentary. For example, he describes the series as mostly about the police investigation, which makes me wonder if they brought in someone to tweak the original series so it would be more palatable to certain concerned citizens. Have a look at this. I have a limited series coming out top of the year that is about the murder of JonBenet Ramsey, more about the war between the semi-corrupt DA's office and the corrupt police department that followed her murder. Now, when he says top of the year, I think what he means, and he does go into more detail about that, I think he means the top of the next year, meaning 2026, this year. He also says, I was equally shocked no one had done it yet, but I put together a 25-minute pitch and sold it in a day. We wrapped production in February, I think that's of 2025, and I genuinely think Melissa McCarthy's going to win an award for it as Patsy. She's incredible, as is Clive Owen as John. Now, it's also interesting that Query regards the Boulder police as corrupt, more corrupt than the DA's office, which I think reveals the actual bias of the show. And I think John Ramsey will be absolutely delighted with that if that's the angle they are taking. Because I think if the main thrust of this series will be to villainize the investigators and to once again toast Lou Smit as the undisputed Sherlock Holmes of this case, well, that will basically be a carbon copy of the story and the documentaries Team Ramsey have been telling in their books and the rest of their apologia since day one. I do think whatever the bias of the show, Melissa McCarthy will be fascinating to watch as Patsy, and Query seems to think she's the star of the show, which isn't hard to imagine. Query also suggests that this show will be available at the end of Q1 in 2026. Well, the end of Q1 is March 31st this year. Now, it seems as though he's an insider and that he would have inside knowledge and that this is as official as it can get, but I wouldn't hold my breath, though, that this is going to come out in March for a few reasons. Firstly, we're in March, we're almost at the end of the first week in March, and there hasn't been any official announcement. Secondly, there isn't even an official poster for this film. And thirdly, we still don't see confirmation of a release date on IMDb or anywhere else. I suspect if anything does make it onto the airwaves, it will be so sanitized and so pro-Ramsey, it will be indistinguishable from the cliched humdrum we see repeated virtually every time or any time anyone discusses this case or any time it's covered in terms of the media. Just think of that Netflix series. When I wrote my very first book on the Ramsey case, I did think carefully what I was going to call it, a title that would speak to the connivances surrounding this case. I wrote The Craven Silence in 2016, 10 years ago, and I still think the Craven Silence that undermined this case from the beginning and 10 years ago is alive and well. What do you guys think? Well, I'm not going to take it further than that. I do want to alert you guys to another documentary that's coming out on Kate McCann. Remember, that anniversary is also coming up in May, which is basically in about 2 months' time. And in terms of that particular documentary, it's dealing with a very interesting area of the McCann case. The 48 questions Kate McCann was asked, that period where Kate McCann was questioned and even offered a deal. You know, confess and something like, I think, we'll give you 2 years or something like that. But that is also a very interesting documentary that's coming out. And it was actually news of that led me to wonder, I wonder what's going on with the JonBenet Ramsey documentary. Well, I guess we're going to find out very soon whether it's yay or nay. Anyway, thank you for listening, and I'll see you guys next time.